So, why did you pick this game?
I picked this game because I've played a few. This is the only one I lost,
Okay.
and it looks like the other. I get a huge lead, and
Mm-hmm.
then mm, I mean, there is nothing wrong I can find. Like I played around objectives. Maybe I valued my life a bit too low, but I can't really understand why I lost this game.
Okay.
And it is representative of my typical Leblanc game, so I thought it would be good.
Perfect. Let's take a look at that, shall we? So, when it comes to level 1, right? First 3 waves, what do we want to do into Yasuo?
I don't really feel confident to push into Yasuo because I feel like, based on my past experience, even with other champs, you can just all in you,
Mm-hmm.
and it feels really harder. And with the wind wall, you can really maybe it's harder to break the crash the wave basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I just want to try to get his shield out, then poke, and
Okay.
keep the wave in the middle, or maybe a bit on my side.
Okay. Very good. So, what I actually would do, right, is if I'm LeBlanc into this situation, I want to actually stack 3 waves, do a 3 stack, and then play with the bounce. Because levels 1 to 2, we are way stronger than him, right? Level 3, we start to have issues because that's when he gets his wind wall. So before level 3, we can actually beat him. That means that we are able to go for a 3 stack. And we can then let the wave bounce out. So we can then play it towards our side. And maybe we can actually put some gank pressure onto him with Zek. So we can actually still make use of our early game strength and put some pressure onto this Yasuo. So
Okay.
how do we go? How do we do a 3 stack onto him? We auto attack one of these melee creeps once, and then we just last hit everything. And whenever he walks up like this, I don't really want to be using my W onto the minions. If I use my W, I want it to go onto him. And then I want to proc my electrocute.
Because he had like the shield and the bomb plating, so I was a little in doubt
That's a
going
very
for the
good
trade.
that's a very good point. So ideally what we do is we actually proc it and then we with an auto attack and we don't W in and then we wait, for example, for a moment like this where he walks up and right now we auto attack W auto attack so we can get the electrocute proc.
All right.
And then we get a beautiful trade. Very good trade, beautiful. Nice auto attacks. Okay. Okay, so when something like this happens in my games, right, where I have to use W defensively like this, I'm always reviewing why that's the case. Because ideally, as LeBlanc, we want to be Wing offensively. So that's like a
Okay.
review tip. Um, I think the reason it's because we didn't quite respect Yasuo's engage threat. So instead of kiting up here, it would be better to stand right here. Because then he cannot really go onto us. So it's a little positioning right here.
Makes sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, good chain. We use a potion.
It's really smart to review on the defensive W. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't ever think about it.
Yeah, exactly. And the reasoning for that is because we are aggressive champion, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Get all the creeps, except for that one. Still bottom. Okay. Okay. Little micro improvements here. Let's break these down. So, first of all, whenever we're closing in on the enemies, whenever we're ganking, right? What we have to understand is that our W is our main damage tool. So, what we cannot do is we cannot ever use our W early like this as a gap closer. Because then we don't deal any damage. The fact that we miss our E can happen. That's not a big problem in my opinion. But I do see an effect like this that we don't really understand how our W works when we're ganking other lanes. Is we want to be using this W onto the enemies. It's our main damage tool. So we just walk at
Okay.
them, QW, something like that.
Okay.
That's the
Yeah, I
first thing.
guess I wasn't expecting him to like go that deep. Which I was expecting him to like walk back, but yeah, not really reliable.
Exactly. As for this was really good. This was also really, really good. I think right here, the W in was also amazing. And the only thing we have to do is just auto attack her and not throw
Okay,
our E.
she will try to dodge.
Exactly. And we just have the red buff so we can just run her down with the auto attack slow. Let's take a look here. Okay, cannot get the wave in sadly for him. It is what it is. I think here we're in a very similar position, actually. Strangely enough. Because we kind of come in here, and what we instantly do is we W right there. But what we see him do is he actually uses these minions to get through there. So it would have been much better if we held our W, and for example, we are right here now, and we can actually W straight at him, so we would be closer to him.
Mm.
So I think we're just using our W too early. Another thing is I think we're also using our E too early, because once again, we still got this red buff, right? He's got all these dashes. So the only thing we need to do is just auto attack him.
Okay.
Very nice, well done. Definitely want to get this wave in. Alright. So what kind of combo are we going to be best using here?
Um. Oh yeah, the ult W before.
R, Q, W. Because our W is our main damage, correct. Well done. Beautiful reset. On to Lost Chapter. Okay, so what's going through your mind right now?
Uh, Probably I think I just wanna look for more ROMs, and to do that, stack the wave. Maybe try to W in to both damage the wave and harass him when it comes up to last hitting,
Mm-hmm.
because I can always go back with a W
Okay. And
and stacking like that.
where do we want to roam to?
Probably boss side because there's not much CC top side, and
Yeah, this guy's just feeding. So, fuck him. So, we avoid this guy. I would say we roam towards these two guys. Quite squishy on the bot lane. We also have this Mountain Drake, which we 100% want to take since we are 4 AP. we cannot have them build MR and get the Mountain Drake. So I think if we play towards bot side, get our vision towards bot side, we're actually in a very good position. Okay, I love this. Really solid. Beautiful. Okay, let's do some combo usage again.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting the flash.
So how could we've prepared this better? I think what we could have done, we don't have W here. Oh, that's fortunate. Otherwise we could have W'd and get it up, but we don't have the time for that. I still think we should start with Q. Yeah, I think we should definitely start with Q into W. And the fact that we didn't expect a flash makes sense. But I don't think we RW. I think we just QW onto the Kaisa, and then we try to, or we hold our RW, or we actually E her. I don't think we RW instantly. Okay, that's fine. So come back mid, same principle. We slow build into. Do we lose dragon here? Do we get it?
I don't remember.
What the fuck happened to dragon? Oh, Zinjao took it. Well, that's rough. Alright. Okay, so I really like the slow building that we're doing.
Yeah, so you say it works like that because I always play like champ with wave clear, so I'm trying to master the slow build.
Yeah, we're doing
Get
it
pride.
actually really good. We're doing it really good. Because if we slow build this one, right? I think this one is a little bit interesting because we kind of have an awkward wave timing right now. But the previous one was really good. I think we um, can we build this somewhat slower? Yeah, maybe if we don't W that, we can actually stall until the next wave arrives. But maybe we need to play it faster. I'm not sure. It's alright. Okay, so we go for the gank onto the Yasuo. Okay. So one tip against Yasuo, right, is when we're playing Leblanc against Yasuo, um, what I always try to do is I always try to get RW and wait, a normal W and a RW onto him. Because there's no way he can ever win one of those. That's in
Okay.
general good against Yasuo. So in this position, right, what would I do is I would actually Q him, because if he only W's the Q, that's completely fine. So I would start with Q right here, and then we have the QW, which we can then use onto him. So we chunk already this amount of HP from him, which is really, really good. And then what we can do is we can hold our E, we can hold our RW, wait for this guy, and basically make him choke his W. Um, and when he chokes his W, we can then just throw it. And otherwise, if he doesn't choke his W, we can follow up with our RW and then E because we're on top of him. So it's really hard for him to react.
Okay.
Here as well, I would just walk at him. Don't W as a get closer. It's our main damage. Walk at him, try to land an E, and then QW or something like that.
Yeah, so the W really use like the think of it about damage or the
Exactly.
mobility.
Exactly. Beautiful job. That's all right.
Yeah, I was too much confident I could dodge the grenade.
That's okay, man. That happens. All right, so we get the mythic. That's nice. I think she's dead here. No need to force it.
Yeah, I definitely see a trend with the W.
You do, right? Very good.
Uh,
That's okay, man. I like this way more. Look, we jump onto her, and because we're next to her, it makes it so easy to land the chain.
mhm.
Really good. Beautiful. So we get the kill, but it was a bit sloppy. Same principle. We just Q him, get his shield off or his wind wall, and then we just double W. The W and the WR.
Okay.
And then he cannot dodge it. Okay, so we're in a pretty good position right now. Okay, so this was pretty awkward here. So we open mid. Why do we go mid here?
Mm, it was just maybe looking for a dive since Zaka was there.
I think I would have went top. Doesn't really make sense going mid when Vladimir is already there. I think we lose too much on the side lane for that. Let's take a look. Lose tower here. Once again, we move mid. Why don't we shove out top?
Yeah, I probably was pressed, like thinking like I have to do something. Maybe a little patience.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the problem.
Okay.
Yeah, Hindir,
Oh,
I wasn't expecting the item.
wow. Ooh, that's a tough death. I didn't expect this well. Okay, that's alright. Interesting. So now we move top.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if going top then TPing or going there and then TPing top maybe if needed.
Yeah, I think the best play would be to go there, to just go where the skirmish is. If we know for a fact that the skirmish is gonna happen, we can actually move there, and then we can always go top after.
Alright.
Nice little juking here. Okay, that's definitely really tough, because we lose the Drake, we lose access to a possible win condition, we lose a lot of towers, a lot of side lane pressure. Still in a fine position here. We're taking a lot of kills. Dark Shield would definitely be good to snowball harder.
Yeah,
So
I
what's going?
forgot that sometimes.
That's okay, man. So what's going through your mind right now?
Yeah, it's quite tough. I mean, I don't really know now how to, other than playing around objectives like Baron, uh, I don't really know how to, you know, heal the Nexus. I
Okay. So right now, why are we going mid?
think because I see Luke's top, Vladimir is bot, and maybe to be near Baron, probably.
Yeah. So why wouldn't we go top? We get vision around top side, and we actually play for this out tier third together with Zek.
Yeah, I was a bit confused, I guess. Yeah.
Because we're mid right now, we cannot really do anything. Because we cannot win the wave clear battle against this Kaisa because she's not alone. So then she just wins the wave clear battle. But if Jin would be mid here, and Lux would also come mid because we go top, they can actually win the wave clear battle. And then we also win on top because we win the 1v1. Because that's what our champion does. And then we can shove and move, or we can shove and play for the tower. Or we can, what I would do with this strength that we have is actually shove and maybe sit in this bush and wait to make a pick or something like that. But because we're not really creating any tempo, because I'm gonna be honest, we're in the mid game we're a bit lost. We're not really on the right place of the right at the right time on the map. So
Mm-hmm.
what's gonna happen is actually we're gonna lose all map pressure because our wave clear is so low. We're gonna lose a lot of CS, 120 at 21 minutes. It's not too much, and that's gonna also make us weak. And um, it's gonna give the enemies a lot of opportunities to regain vision and control of areas. And when we're playing Leblanc, that's actually really, really important. So we do get this, but we do lose Nash. Right now, it's really fucking tough to play as Leblanc because we cannot really do anything against this Nash. So what I would do in this position is actually reset, fuck this top wave, TP on this control ward right here, jump over the dragon pit and sit here in the bushes in the bot side jungle or something like that. Hopefully Kaisar runs into us because we need to get a tempo advantage one way or another. Because we're down in tempo right now. LeBlanc is also very reliant on tempo. Because these guys are just going to push with Baron, and what are we going to be able to do against it with our wave clear? Nothing. Right? Because we don't have good wave clear. So we need to catch someone so these guys are not able to siege or not able to play. Special ops mindset. Okay, I'm pretty sure we would have killed her if we actually do the R, Q, W instead of the R, W.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Against the Xinjiao, it's really good to also W in. That's a bit unfortunate.
Right in Talia.
Yeah. And when we W back, we jump straight into Kaiser W, so it's a bit unlucky.
Oh,
Okay. From this point, the game is
yeah, it's over.
unwinnable. Yep.
Yes.
All right. So what do we see? We get a lead. I think that's good, right? We got a good lead. That was well done. But it seems like we're a little bit lost in the mid game. We're not really sure when to go where. Um, so what I actually think that we should do is I think that that's in our review once we have the lead, right, and once the lane assignments get swapped up, I think that's where we should put most of our effort, lane assignments. This is what we should look for in the reviews. So
Okay.
what exactly is it that we are supposed to be looking at that? Well, when we come out of base, we gotta evaluate the game state, right? It's the same as what I asked you. Okay, why are we going top? Why are we going mid? Stuff like that. What are we going mid for? What are we doing on mid here, right? Because the other option is going top, and what do we lose on top? We lose one tower, we lose two tower, we lose three waves. That's a lot of XP, a lot of farm. So right here, why are we going mid, right? I think we should stay top because we are really strong in the 1v1 because we're Leblanc. And we can just push, 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 push. And then once the enemy answers the waves, right? So it's the shove into move, right? Once the enemy answers the wave, that's when we rotate down or try to make picks. Because that's how we create tempo. The thing that I'm missing in your gameplay is the fact that we are not creating tempo. That's the thing.
Okay.
And tempo is a very broad concept. But what does it mean creating tempo? Is we are not forcing the enemy to respond to certain waves. So they are like ever getting into a man disadvantage or ever getting a place where they're forced to give up a certain area or vision. Right? We're always responding to their place right here.
Yeah, I think the misconception I have just came from that maybe I think that since I have not much wave clear, I'm
Yes.
better off like doing something else than taking waves. But I will try to get those waves in the mid game.
Yes, it's really important that we get them. Shove them in and then move. That's the plan. And one more thing to keep in mind, W usage.
Yeah.
Okay? Take a look at it in your reviews. You've seen the patterns now. You can spot them. Um, and that should already put you in a pretty good direction. And I think we should do more of these LeBlanc reviews. Like, LeBlanc is a very tough champion, very uh, mechanically challenging champion. So feel free to jump by every other week or something like that. We should be able to get your games in because it's really important that we do get these reviews going because of how hard she is. All right.
Okay, okay.
So feel free
Makes
to jump
sense.
by. Any other questions, Tony?
Yeah, just one. Like, how can I mean, how should I know when the mid game pushing waves when it's enough because tower start falling? I mean, should just bring them over half of the map or
What
more or
what
less.
do you mean?
I mean, when it's mid, I know when I push, I crash under tower,
Mm-hmm.
these things. But in the mid game, maybe Here we have two missing towers. I mean, if I push only one wave, I don't really know when it will meet with the other one. I mean, I know, but I don't know if that's enough, or I should crash it or not in the mid game. The wave, I mean.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we want to create as much tempo as possible, right? So uh, the best situation as possible is to push him as deep as possible, so we crash it. That's the best possible thing. That's not always going to be able. We're not always going to be able to do that because we sometimes don't have vision. We sometimes don't know where the enemies are, so we cannot always crash them. So what we want to do is to create as much tempo as possible, is to safely push out as much as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, and if we see a fight happening while we're pushing out or something like that, we can always just adapt while we're pushing and just still move towards the fight. Okay?
All right.
And what you can do,
Yeah.
Donny, is if you have any specific examples around some mid game stuff like lane assignments, just trigger questions in the VOD questions channel, right? And then I can get you some quick feedback.
Perfect.
All right? Beautiful stuff.
Thank you, Tim. It was really helpful.
I appreciate hearing that.
Sure.
Great
Make
stuff, man.
sure